My beloved child, do you know what the saddest thing is? It is when your breath comes to a halt and only then do you realize you have lived like a shadow before me, faint, faded, leaving behind no trace of love in this life. I did not create you to drift through existence in such indifference. I created you to step into the light so that your soul might carry real weight before my holy face. And my child, if today you can still hear this call, it means I am still stretching out my arms to pull you away from the shadow you are slowly turning yourself into. Do you remember the story of Stephen, the one who was stoned to death? The crowd saw a man whose life was about to be extinguished, but I saw a soul stepping into glory. As the stone struck Stephen's body, nothing on earth went with him except what he had sown throughout that brief life of his, faithfulness, truth, and the light I had placed within him. His body collapsed to the ground, but his soul rose and stood before me full, radiant, no longer a mere shadow. Do you see? What you guard and cherish today will follow you into eternity, and what you cling to in hopeless attachment will remain behind with the grave. You are so busy running through this world that you forget every breath is being counted. You call it life, but in truth, it is a series of moments I give you to choose. Either draw nearer to me, or turn yourself into a pale silhouette lost in the chaos of this earthly realm. You adorn your life with things that quickly fade, and then you believe they define your worth. Yet when your breathing stops, all those things will vanish like smoke into nothingness, leaving only one question: to whom does your soul truly belong? You often fear death as if it were a night that finally closes in, but I tell you, it is only a door. What is frightening is not that door itself, but that you might arrive there with empty hands, a withered heart, a soul that has never truly lived. You still have time, but not as much as you think. And I do not want you, when you step onto the other shore, to appear only as a shadow, without life, without light, without any love ever sown. No one likes to hear this, but I must still tell you, your breath is moving toward its end. Not this very moment, but day by day, hour by hour, you are drawing nearer to the place where every body must be laid down. Your body is only a temporary garment, while your soul carries the dimension of eternity, and yet you spend so much time tending what is temporary, forgetting what will endure forever. Every heartbeat you think is just a biological reflex is, in truth, held within my gaze. Every tear you think no one sees is written into eternity by me. You keep reassuring yourself that you still have many years left, but time is only a short bridge on which you choose the final direction of your soul. Death is not absolute darkness, my child. It is the moment when the door opens. Either you step into the sunny light I have prepared for you, or you turn away from me forever. I look at you with the eyes of a father who understands every weakness, and I know what I am about to say may make your heart tighten. But my child, if I remain silent, your soul will lose itself in those vain things you so easily mistake for what is lasting. Your breath is like a fragile thread, not to frighten you, but to remind you that the time I give is not meant to be wasted. You were woven together in a wondrous way. I saw you even before you had form in your mother's womb, just as the psalm once whispered. I know you were made in a marvelous way, so that you might understand your true worth does not lie in a body that is fading, but in a soul that can grow endlessly in the light. I do not want you to live in anxiety about death, yet I also do not want you to sleep on in the illusion that you have endless tomorrows. You only need to grasp one thing. The moments you have now are not given for fear, but for wakefulness and return. You think your life is secured by youth, health, or the things you have achieved, but all of that is like a mist that vanishes when I breathe lightly upon it. I do not say this to sadden you. I say it so that you realize you have never been the master of time. You are only the one to whom I have entrusted a fragile treasure for safekeeping. Each heartbeat you think monotonous is actually telling a story, the story of what you choose in every beat of your life. There are moments when you are weary and you ask, why do the days pass so quickly? And you do not realize that I let time slip by so that you may see more clearly what truly matters. Your body will one day be like an old garment, frayed by the years, while your soul keeps growing, forever longing to touch me. And when you understand this, you will cease chasing after things that exhaust you, yet do not feed even a single spark of light in your eternity. At times you blame me for the limits of your body, for the fatigue, the illness, the moments you feel utterly helpless. But my child, it is precisely those limits that help you understand you cannot hold yourself up forever, that you need me, not because I wish to control you, but because I want you to live more fully. If your breath were to stretch on without end, you might never seek me, never discover just how weak you are and how deeply you need an embrace of love. I placed an end point on earthly life, not to corner you, but as a marker, so you would know when to turn back if your soul is walking down the wrong path. And do not forget that your tears, your pain, even the times you collapse, are never outside of my sight. I keep them safe as part of the story that one day you yourself will be proud to look back on. I want you to understand that limited breath is not a sentence, but a gift that teaches you to treasure every day I place in your hands. If you had infinite time, love would grow lazy, forgiveness would be forever postponed, and kindness would wait until you are freer. But because time is limited, every choice you make becomes sacred. A gentle word, a hand reaching out, a quiet act in secret all become eternal seeds. You do not need grand achievements to make your soul beautiful. You only need to live with a heart that knows how to love, to understand, to choose what is right, even when it costs you. When you live like that, each breath, whether few or many, becomes a stone laid into an everlasting dwelling, instead of being blown away by the wind in vain. I am always near, ready to turn you toward the light, if you would only look back once. And my child, once you realize that breath is not infinite, your eyes will open to see that many things in this world are no longer worth clinging to as you once did. You will see that what you once thought so important is actually like the morning mist, disappearing as soon as the sun touches it. And in that very moment, your heart will grow softer, more willing to listen, more able to let go of what weighs your soul down. I do not want you to live in fear of the limits of your body, but I long for you to cherish your soul enough not to let it be buried under what is passing away. When each breath reminds you that you are finite, you will also remember that I am infinite, and that my love for you is not measured in years or months or days. From that awareness, you will begin to sense that something else is waiting for you to discover, something you will see more clearly as you step into deeper understandings of this life. My dear child, I see your hands constantly busy holding on to things that one day you will not be able to take with you. I watch you gather every fragment of success, every word of praise, every little piece of safety, and I understand you are only trying to find a resting place for your heart. Yet you do not realize that the very things you grip so tightly are making your soul heavier and more fragile than ever. One who does not know they are clinging to what is temporary easily loses the true joy, like a person who is lost yet believes they are on the right path. I once told you, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also, and I see your heart scattered into things that cannot hold you when the storms come. I do not blame you. I only grieve for your beautiful heart when it trades so much for what will not last. There are days when you feel empty, even though your hands hold what others can only dream of. You ask yourself why, after reaching what you wanted, your joy lasts only a brief moment before fading like the early morning mist. That is not your fault. It is simply the nature of what you are clinging to. All earthly beauty is woven from fragile threads. Houses, reputation, appearance, money. These things are not evil. but they were never meant to be the center of your soul's life. When you lift them higher than the place I have reserved for you, they become burdens instead of blessings. And my child, precisely when you pin your hope on what will evaporate, your heart grows weary, for it is seeking security in something that cannot bear its weight. I see clearly how you work yourself to exhaustion to preserve things that have no guarantee of tomorrow. You fear that if you do not try even harder, your life will fall apart, others will surpass you, or your worth will fade away. But you do not see that your true worth is not held in what you possess, but in who you are becoming. I love you not because of your achievements, your appearance, or your reputation. I love you because of your soul, something no one can ever replace. If you would only grow still, you would realize that the things you chase have no power to love you back, while I am always waiting to lift you up, even when you are too tired to cling to anything at all. I only long for you to place your hand on your heart and ask, do the things I am holding truly have the power to hold me? My child, nothing is more painful than seeing you trade eternal life for a few fragile years of comfort. I see you sacrifice sleep, health, love, and even your peace, just to protect what death will snatch from your hands in a single closing of your eyes. And yet I do not reproach you. I want you to understand that your heart deserves to rest in something far more enduring. When you dare to let go of what you are terrified of losing, you will be surprised to discover a freedom you never thought possible. And it is that very lightness that will open your eyes to see what can never be taken away, the very thing your soul has long been yearning for. From that moment on, you will know how to ask a better question. What am I living for, and how long will it last? And my beloved, when your heart begins to understand that clinging to the wrong things only makes your soul more tired, you will naturally know what deserves priority in this brief life. You will see that true values do not lie in what dazzles on the outside, but in what is quiet yet steadfast deep within the soul. Those things are not corroded by time, nor swept away by the upheavals of life. This realization will lead you to a deeper question. Why do you keep thinking you have been abandoned when I have never once left your side? My child, I know there are nights when you lie still in the darkness and wonder why I am silent. I see you trying to hide the sighs you think no one hears, and I know that in those moments your heart is so fragile that a single word of love could make you burst into tears. You think I have gone away, but in truth it is your pain that makes you curl in on yourself, close the doors of your heart, and from there you can no longer see that I am sitting right beside you. There are times you say, God doesn't listen to me anymore, but in reality, it is your sorrow that clouds your eyes, so you cannot see the presence that has always been there. I once told you, behold, I am with you always, not as some grand, distant promise, but as the warmth with which I long to soothe your heart. And you must know that I have never withdrawn that word, even when you are so weary you no longer wish to lift your head. My child, I do not blame you when you feel empty inside. Anyone who carries a frail body will sooner or later sink into such a dark place. Yet it is precisely that darkness that makes you judge everything by passing feelings, and feelings are always changing, light as a passing breeze. There are days when you feel I am near, and the next day you think I have disappeared simply because you no longer sense warmth. Your emotions are like the surface of water before the wind, rippling, quivering, then growing still, while my truth remains standing firm like a mountain of rock that cannot be shaken. I do not let you lean on emotions in order to believe, for if you did, just a single rainstorm would be enough for your faith to collapse. I want you to place your faith on what is certain, that I am always there, even when all you can feel is the weight pressing inside your chest. I understand that old wounds have made you guarded, made it hard for you to believe that anyone could love you unconditionally. You have been hurt by others, So you think I too will leave you when you are weak or not good enough. But my love is unlike any love you have ever known. It is not measured by achievements. It is not shaken by your failures, and it does not fade when you fall. When you look at your pain and conclude that you have been abandoned, you have allowed the world to deceive you, and it is that very deception that turns your face away from me, not because you want to, but because you are afraid of being hurt again. I see that, and I want to tell you this. You do not have to strain to make yourself worthy of me. You only need to live honestly with your small, fragile heart, because I love you not when you are strong, but precisely when you are trembling. And my dear one, I know there are times you feel invisible in this vast world. Loneliness makes you wonder, who needs me? Who sees me? And the silence that answers you leads you to believe that I too have left you like so many others. But you do not realize that every time you burst into tears, I am so close that even a whisper from you is heard clearly. Every tear you shed, I keep as a father keeps each little keepsake of his beloved child. You are not forgotten, not abandoned, not taken lightly. You have only been looking at life through weary eyes, so everything seems darker than it truly is. And it is precisely when you dare to open your heart once more that you will see something you have never clearly seen before. You have never been alone, not in the past, not now, and you never will be. My child, when you understand that I do not move away from you, not even for a single breath, you will begin to see yourself as loved in a way you have never known. That truth is like a small lamp shining into your soul, helping you discern what is true from what is the whisper of lies the world breathes into you at your weakest. And when you stand firm in that love, you will start to look at life again with gentler eyes, realizing that loneliness is no longer a prison, but a doorway that leads you to seek me more deeply. From there, your heart will grow lighter, less afraid before all that changes, because you know there is a place that always waits for your return, a place that never closes its doors to you. And that peace will then lead you into a new awareness, that the life you are living now is not your final harbor, but only a temporary journey where your soul learns to grow and to mature. My beloved child, there are times when you sit amid the clutter of life, yet feel as if you are lost in a place where you do not belong. That feeling does not come from weakness. It is the quiet echo of your soul, reminding you that you were born for a realm wider and more enduring than this world. Life on earth is like a temporary classroom, where every hardship is a lesson, every joy is a short recess, and every trial is an opportunity for you to grow. But I see how often you try to turn this classroom into your final home, to the point that you forget there is another life waiting for you, far more beautiful. That is why Scripture has whispered, "Our homeland is in heaven," not to make you despise the world, but to remind you that this place is only a brief stopping point. And my child, once you grasp this, you will find every attachment becoming lighter. I see you sometimes so absorbed in worries that you lose your inner stillness. You build plans that stretch to the end of your days, yet forget that this life is only the first chapter of an eternal story, where each choice today is writing the next page. I do not say this so that you withdraw or abandon the world, but so you may recognize that everything you do, from a quiet word, a gentle gesture, to a hidden thought, carries an echo into eternity. The world is not your enemy. It is the training ground where your soul grows strong, learns to love more deeply, and chooses what is right even when it costs you something. I see every moment when you restrain your anger, choose to forgive, stand on the side of truth, or help someone in secret in those moments. Your soul shines brighter than any achievement you could ever attain on this earth. Do not think those quiet acts disappear. They are the very provisions you carry with you into the life to come. My child, in this classroom you do not learn only with your mind, but with your heart and sometimes with your wounds. There are things I allow you to go through not to break you, but to help you understand more deeply mercy, hope, and a strength you never knew you had. When you fall and rise again, when you keep choosing love even after being hurt, when you persist patiently where no one sees, that is when your soul is growing, even if you do not realize it. I gather every one of those moments as a father keeps each scribbled drawing of his little child, because to me, they are more precious than any gold or silver you could possess. And you will be amazed to know this. Not a single effort of yours along this journey is wasted. All of it is written into the eternal story of your life in ink that will never fade. But did you know, this classroom also records everything you nurture in your own shadows. Selfishness, envy, scheming, and all that you think no one notices, they too follow your soul, like dark strokes of color that I long for you to recognize soon, so they can be corrected. I do not say this to frighten you, but to help you see that your inner life matters more than what you show on the outside. When you realize that nothing truly disappears, that all good and evil accompany you into eternity, your heart will grow more discerning about what you choose to sow into each day. And this very wakefulness will open in you a new question. If this world is only a place to train the heart, then what is it that is slowly leading you away from me, even while you still live in this classroom? That question will gently guide you into a deeper truth that sometimes it is precisely living too much for yourself that causes your soul to lose its way. My beloved child, there is something I have long hesitated to say, because I know it may touch the tender, painful corners of your heart. But if I remain silent, you will keep following the path the world draws for you, a path that looks bright, yet slowly dims your soul. The world tells you that you must be first, must protect yourself, must put your own self above all, but each time you chase after that, I see your heart grow smaller and harder. You think you are strong because you are defending yourself, but in truth, you are building a wall that leaves you trapped inside. I once said, whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for my sake will find it, not as a threat, but as a key for you to unlock your soul. And my child, I speak this in love, not to condemn you, but to free you from the very cage you have unknowingly built around yourself. You do not realize that every time you live only for yourself, your soul loses a little more of its capacity to love. When you place the self above everything else, you will find the world growing smaller, other people becoming threats, and your joy narrowing like a room with no light. You may gain success, reputation, or admiration, but these things can never fill the emptiness that selfishness leaves behind in your heart. I did not create you to live like a planet orbiting only around itself. I created you to be a light, for your heart to be able to share in the joys and sorrows of others. When you open yourself to love, to forgive, to give, you will see that you lose nothing at all, but instead recover the most beautiful parts of who you are. What I desire from you is not perfection, but the willingness to step out of the hard shell you thought was your safety. There are times when you think that living for yourself is only natural, because who does not want what is good for them? Yet you do not see that putting yourself first can slowly become a distorted mirror through which you misjudge your own worth. You begin to measure yourself by achievement, superiority, and attention, and when those things shake, you shake with them. But I do not see you as the world sees you. I see you through the eyes of the one who knows that your value does not lie in what you accomplish, but in the one to whom you belong. When you live for me and for those I place beside you, you will discover a strength in your heart you never knew before. And in that very moment, you will understand that sacrifice does not impoverish you. It is the key that opens the door to true freedom. My child, my final reminder is not to close this message, but to open a wider way before you. You only truly find yourself when you no longer live for yourself. You cannot worship yourself and at the same time move toward the kingdom of heaven. Those two directions are as different as two streams, that can never flow in the same riverbed. When you stand before me, I will not ask how much wealth you had, how many admired you, or how high you rose in the eyes of the world. I will ask you 4 simple questions that determine the fate of your eternity. Do you believe in me? Do you love others? Do you know how to forgive? Do you live humbly and seek the truth? If you can answer these questions with your very life, your soul will feel as light as the early sun and as bright as a flame in the night. And as you walk in this way, you will see, what I desire from you has never been a burden. I only want you to live more fully than you ever imagined. My beloved child, come and sit here with me, and let me speak to you with all the honesty a father's heart can hold for the child he loves. No matter how far you think you have gone, you have never stepped beyond my arms. No matter how scraped, stained, or broken you feel, I have never looked at you with rejection in my eyes. I know every small corner of your soul, even the rooms you have locked because of shame, because of pain, because you fear that if anyone saw inside, they would abandon you. But I am not like that. What you hide, I know. What you forget, I remember. What you fear, I touch with a tenderness that no wound can resist. You have never been too shattered for me to lift you up, never too withered for me to renew you, never too late for me to begin again with you. You were not created to live under guilt or in the shadow of your mistakes, but to live in the light I placed within you from the very beginning. The world will never understand how I look at you, so it teaches you things that slowly lead you away from me without you realizing it. It plants in your heart the fear of death because it knows only the limits of the body and not the breadth of the soul. It tells you to cling to everything, to never stop grasping, to hoard as much as possible as if your worth were measured by what you hold in your hands. It tells you that you are alone, that no one truly understands you, that no one needs you, that you are just a speck of dust easily forgotten in the crowded stream of life. But those words are only the hollow echo of a world that does not know the source and destiny of the soul. In my eyes, none of that is true. You are never alone, because I have never withdrawn from a single one of your breaths. You are never meaningless, because your very existence is an act of love I chose for you from eternity. You are never abandoned, because even when you turn your back, I still stand behind you, waiting for the day you turn around. You think death is the final line of your story, but in truth, it is only the doorway into a new chapter, a chapter where light is no longer entangled in darkness, where you no longer live separated by fear or by failure. It is like a child who imagines its mother's arms are the whole world, until the moment it is lifted up and suddenly sees a vast, radiant horizon it never knew existed. You are the same. You think this life is everything, but when the eyes of your soul open in my light, you will understand. Every beauty on earth was only a dim shadow of the true joy I have prepared for you. The breath in your body will one day slow, grow gentle, grow thin like a candle about to go out. But your soul is awakening, growing, beginning to recognize the hope I planted in you from the moment you were woven together in your mother's womb. And when the final moment of your earthly body arrives, you will understand that it is not an ending, but the moment you begin to breathe with me, no longer bound by the worries, the pains, the shame that the world once used to chain you. The moment your eyes close to this world will be the moment they open in a light that never goes out. The moment your heart stops beating in this weary body will be the moment it is taken up into the rhythm of my love, where sorrow has no right to exist, where every tear is wiped away by my own hand. You are afraid that you will vanish, that you will become empty, that you will be erased from everything you have ever known. But the truth is that you will be filled, made whole, brought into a fullness of life beyond anything you have ever experienced on earth. You will be surrounded by a love without borders, without conditions, a love not shaken by failure or time. You will finally see that my love for you has never rested on your perfection, but on the worth I placed in you from eternity. I know how your heart has trembled at the thought of the wrongs you have done, the words you have spoken, the paths you have wandered from thee. You think I will look at those things and draw away from you, but I have never loved you with a love that says, if you perform well, then I will love you. I loved you before you knew how to love me. I chose you even before you knew how to choose what is right. I am seeking you even when you are too weary to seek me anymore. You worry about your sins, about the times you collapsed, about the moments you felt you had ruined everything. But my child, I saw your whole story before you lived your first day. Your wounds do not make me hesitate. They only make me want to hold you closer. Your failures do not disappoint me. They only make me long for you to lean on me more. My mercy is not a slow drip that depends on your mood or your behavior. It is like a mighty river that never stops flowing, never runs dry, no matter how much you draw from it. My forgiveness is not a cloth that wipes off a stain but still leaves a faint mark. It erases, heals, renews, and begins again. I do not see you as a defective case file that needs correction. I see you as a child who needs to be loved enough to dare to stand up once more. I want you to understand that the things you fear the most will never be greater than the love I have for you. I do not wait for you to become perfect before I come. I come so that you may become what you were created to be. And when you understand this, you will see something deep and true. You were not born to face fear alone. You were born to have your hand in mine as I lead you through the darkest valleys, so that you might know the light never goes out, no matter how thick the shadows become. You were born to live in mercy, not in crippling guilt. You were born to bear light, not to be swallowed by darkness. You were born to discover that love is not a reward at the end of the road, but the gift I have placed in every beat of your life. You belong to me even before you called me by name. You are loved not because you are good enough, but because I am good. You are desired not because you are important in the eyes of the world, but because you are important in my heart. And if you are willing to listen to this truth, you will find that every fear that once weighed you down becomes as light as leaves falling at the close of autumn. Listen to me, my child. I have not come to condemn you, not come to keep a ledger of your wrongs, not come to remind you of things you are trying so hard to forget. I have come to tell you that you still have a place in my heart. You still have a tomorrow. You still have a path that leads into true life. You can still come home, no matter how far you have gone. And when you turn back, you will see that I am not merely standing and waiting. I am running to embrace you from the very first step you take. My beloved, believe this. Everything I do for you. Nothing in your life is meaningless when you place it into my hands. And when the final moments of your earthly journey draw near, you will not have to tremble, because I will be the one who receives you home, like a father welcoming a child returning from afar. You will open your eyes in a light that never fades, and you will know that my love for you has no end. My child, I will go on speaking to you with all the tenderness of a father, and also with the firmness of the one who knows exactly what your soul needs to truly live. I want these words not only to touch your ears, but to dissolve into the very depths of your soul, like a quiet stream soaking into the driest ground. My arms are wide enough to embrace every part you are hiding, every part you dislike, every part you think I could never accept. I hold even the fractures you believe no one understands. I hold the shame you bury inside. I hold the silent longings you have never dared to name. There is no corner of your being that I do not know, and no corner that I refuse. I ask only one small thing from you, yet it is the key that opens a vast doorway for your soul. Trust me. Trust not merely with your thoughts, but by letting me take your hand when you cannot see the way. Trust by allowing me to decide what you truly need, instead of clinging desperately to what you merely want. Trust by daring to breathe out deeply once, and lay down what is exhausting your heart. Surrender is not defeat. It is the bravest act of the soul, because only when your hands are no longer clinging to what is withering can they be free to grasp hold of me. Do not imagine that I am demanding too much of you. In truth, I am asking you to put down only what is draining your strength. Those ambitions that no longer fit who you are, those fears that gnaw at you night after night, those relationships in which you feel you are hurting yourself simply by trying to hold on. Those old memories like shards of glass lodged in your heart. You think you cannot release them, but you do not realize they were never the things keeping you alive. I am the one who lifts you up, protects you, guards your soul with a love that does not tremble, does not change, does not fade. I want you to know that I truly am who I say I am, your creator, your faithful friend, your redeemer, who knows exactly when you need comfort and when you need to be raised up. I am not a stranger to you. I do not stand at some height far above and far away. I am right there, within every breath you take, even when that breath feels heavy, as if you were carrying the sky upon your chest. You draw this air into your lungs every day, but my child, all of this is only temporary. The world you see is not the destination. The things you worry about, the things you struggle for, the anxieties you carry about the future, they are only like shadows gliding across the ground as the sun moves in the sky. They have form, but no true weight. The life you now know, with all its joys and sorrows, is only the prelude to an endless symphony. What is coming is far more radiant than anything you have ever. You will step into a vast reality where light does not just shine upon your face but passes through your soul, turning every dark corner within you into something transparent and clear. You will behold colors your earthly eyes have never seen, the color of peace, the color of hope, the color of joy, untouched by fear. You will hear sounds not produced by instruments, but born from the perfect harmony of love and overflowing life. You will experience a peace unlike any peace you have known, not the fragile quiet that can be shattered by bad news, misfortune, or a new fear, but a peace that so enlarges your heart that there is no room left for sorrow to dwell. You will know me fully, just as I have always known you, not through second-hand stories or borrowed beliefs, but through a true encounter, eye to eye, breath to breath, in a closeness that dissolves every doubt. You will look back on each moment of your life when you thought you were utterly alone, and you will see something that will bring you to tears of joy. I was carrying you through every stretch of the road. You will see again each tear you shed in silence, thinking it disappeared into the night, but I kept every single one like a treasure, because to me, they were drops born from a heart that knows how to love, to long, to hope. You will see them transformed by me into light, into gleaming crowns reflecting the way I have loved you through each storm. You will remember each wound you thought would never heal, and you will see how I touched them so gently that even pain itself could not resist becoming something good. There are things you thought would destroy you, yet they became the very places where my light poured in. And I say this to you as a father gently stroking your hair. There is nothing for you to fear. Every darkness you imagine lies ahead is only your lack of understanding of the light I am preparing. You are safer than you think. Even if your body is weary, even if your emotions are unsteady, even if your heart sometimes fails to stand firm, your soul is held securely in my hands. You are being loved even when you cannot feel it, because my love does not depend on your moods or your failures. You are on your way home, not in the sense of leaving this world at once, but in the sense that your soul is taking step after step back toward the place it has belonged to since it was first created. I am preparing a place for you, and it is not an empty room. I am preparing a new life overflowing with life, a joy that does not fade, a light that does not go out, a freedom you have not yet known, but that your soul has always longed for. Even now, as you read these words and your heart stirs, I am beside you. Even now, when your body feels weighed down by fatigue, I am lifting your soul higher than you think you could stand. Even now, as you stand on the edge of your fears, I am wrapping you in a robe of peace that no one can steal from you. You are not stepping into darkness. You are stepping into a realm of light your eyes are not yet used to, and so you mistake it for something frightening. You will not drift aimlessly. You will not fall into a void, because I am receiving you with both arms open. You will not be condemned, for I am the one who does not push you away, but draws you close. You will not lose yourself. On the contrary, you will discover who you truly are. You bear my image, created to reflect me, to live a life far larger than anything you are imagining now. You are, my child, not in a symbolic sense, but in the truest sense of the word, and you are my beloved not because you are perfect, but because you belong to me. I chose you before you knew how to say my name. I loved you before you knew how to love anything at all. I have guarded you since the time you had no idea what danger even meant. You are mine, and I am yours. So, my child, breathe a little more gently. Lay every fear down at my feet, and let me lead your soul into the realm of peace that I have prepared since before time began. Not because you are capable, not because you are worthy, but because you are loved. And that love is great enough to carry you through every darkness, deep enough to embrace all your weakness, strong enough to lift you back into the light. You will understand what I am saying, not only with your mind, but through the deepest encounter of your soul. And when that moment comes, you will know that everything I am saying to you today is true. You need only to trust. I will take care of the rest. You need only to place your hand in mine. I will lead you through all things. You need only to open your heart. I will fill it with my own life. For you are my child, and I will never let you slip from my embrace. My beloved child, I hear the slight tremor in your breathing. I see your heart restless like a little child standing at the edge of something it has never touched before. But do not be afraid, for the moment you begin to grow weak, I draw closer. Can you feel my presence now? The gentle warmth spreading in your chest is not an accident. It is the mark I place upon your soul so that you may know you are not lost. The soft breeze you sense in your spirit, the quiet stirring like someone whispering in the silence, that is me calling your name. The peace that is rising within you like still waters after a storm is the gift I give when you lay down every fear and allow me to hold your soul with the tenderness you have long forgotten. You do not need to brace yourself to be strong. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to find an answer to every burden of your heart. You need only to trust me, as simply as a child holding the hand of a father who knows the way through the night. You need only to take one deep breath, so that the last breath of your body will no longer be an ending, but a gentle farewell that opens onto another door. You may see the darkness, you may hear your heartbeat slowing, you may feel your hands growing cold, but the darkness is only a veil before the dawn. The trembling is not the sign of an end, but the herald of a stillness that descends from heaven. When your breathing stops, you do not fall into an abyss. You step into true life, the very life I have prepared since the foundation of the world. This is not punishment, not loss, not absolute silence. This is a birth, a beginning, a song that only a healed soul can fully hear. You have loved, you have been loved, you have fallen, you have risen, you have searched, and you have been found by me. Nothing you have lived through is meaningless. Everything has brought you to this moment when your soul is light as mist and yet shines like a candle that can never be extinguished. And now you are here, while I have been here all along, simply waiting for the eyes of your heart to open and recognize me. No power, however strong, can snatch you from my hand. When you leave this body, you do not fall into nothingness. You step into my light, a light that does not blind but heals. When you leave this world, you do not disappear. You enter my kingdom, where life is never again cut short. When you cease this earthly breath, you begin to breathe eternal life, gentle, vast, warm, pure. Nothing will harm you anymore. No fear will cling to you. No tear will be forgotten. No loneliness will echo in you again. The world will keep turning. Time will continue to flow. People may remember you or may not, but your soul will never vanish. You will be more alive than at any moment of your earthly days. You will see with true eyes. You will hear with true ears. You will feel with a heart that bears no wound. You will hear my voice like a cool, ever-flowing stream, and you will feel my embrace like a fire that warms and like a light that pierces through every fear that once weighed upon you. My child, listen to me clearly in this moment. I do not speak to make you tremble. I speak so that your soul may awaken from the long sleep in which the world has wrapped it. You are living in a world that seems so solid, where everything that appears to exist seems worth chasing. But in truth, all of it is like a lengthening shadow when the sun is about to set. The things you touch with your hands, see with your eyes, hold tightly in your heart, all of them will slip away from you like water through your fingers. The house you protect, the city you once loved, the money you once worried over, the body you cherish, the words of praise that make you glad, they are all mist. Even seasons of happiness and seasons of sorrow are but a breeze passing over a field. They look so large to you because you are standing in the middle of them, but in my eyes they are only the first steps of a journey that is longer, deeper, more real. I created you for more than this. I gave you a body so you could walk through this world, but your body was never meant to be your true home. I gave you breath so you could live for a time in this realm of change, but breath is not your soul. I gave you time so you could choose, learn, grow, love, and be transformed, but time is not your final harbor. You are more than what you possess. You are more than what you have done wrong. You are more than the wounds that make you feel unworthy. You are a soul, and that soul was made never to fade away. You were not born to return forever to dust. You were born for the place where I dwell, for a light that does not dim, for a peace that is never broken. You were not created to cling to passing shadows. You were created for the horizon of eternity. I see you, day after day, clinging to things that are slowly decaying with the years. You strain for what you already know you will one day lay down at the roadside of life. You struggle to hold on to safety, reputation, possessions, power, admiration. Yet, my beloved, these things have no soul. They cannot weep with you, cannot heal you, cannot hold you when you are alone, cannot steady you when you fall. You work yourself to exhaustion to keep what will one day abandon you, while I, the one who has never left you, stand beside you, waiting for you to turn and see me. You are weary because you are trying to embrace the whole world with hands that were made simply to hold on to me. You are worn out because you demand that your heart carry burdens that were never meant to be its own. You fall into despair because you use the measures of this world to define the worth of your soul, a soul that will never find its true value in anything that is temporary. But my child, I do not speak these things to accuse you. I speak them so that you may lay your burdens down, so that you may know you do not have to live this way. You do not have to prove your value by what you gather. You do not have to win in order to be loved. You do not have to be strong in order to be accepted. You do not have to be flawless in order to be held. I love you when you are still in chaos, still broken, still marked with scars you dare not face. I love you when you stand, and I love you when you fall. I love you when you believe, and I love you even when you doubt. There is no condition for me to keep you close to my heart. I hold you because you belong to me, long before you knew how to call my name. You think you lose yourself when you no longer live for your own ego, but you do not realize that this little self is too cramped for your soul to breathe. The world tells you to put yourself first, but that is the quickest way to lose the beautiful essence I placed within you. When you live only for yourself, your soul shrinks, hardens, and closes in. When you live for me and for those I place beside you, your soul opens, wide as the sky, calm and bright as still waters. You were not born to live only for yourself. You were born to love, to give, to fill the world with my light. The more you give, the more you find. The more you sacrifice, the more whole you become. The more you forget yourself, the more truly you rediscover who you are. And when you let yourself fall into my arms, when you stop clutching at your life as though it were everything, you will see what you never dared imagine. You lose nothing at all. You are given back to yourself. You are given back the peace you thought you had long lost. You are given back the pure joy that nothing on earth can buy. You are given back clear eyes, a tender heart, and a soul as free as a bird released from its cage. You are given back the purpose of living that you forgot while chasing after what cannot last. Then, in the stillest moment, when all the noise of the world recedes, you will finally hear the one thing you have longed for all your life, my voice calling you by name, not to end you, but to bring you home to where you truly belong. My child, I see the battles you have to face in every corner of this life. I see you straining under empty comparisons, looking at the lives of others and condemning yourself as though you were the only one left behind. I know the nights when you sit in silence, holding back sighs from a weariness you dare not confess to anyone. You carry things heavier than your strength. You cling to pressures you were never meant to bear alone. You try to build an image others will accept. You put on masks you think will make you lovable, but the more you wear them, the more exhausted you become, the more you run, the farther you wander from yourself. The things you buy, the roles you put on, the achievements you accumulate, they are all like dust settling on a fragile body. They cannot carry your soul, nor can they shield you from the deep emptiness I see every time you bow your head in the quiet. You have mistaken the building of a comfortable earthly life for the highest goal, not realizing that everything you construct will return to the earth as though it had never been. The wealth you chase will fade like old paint on a wall. The reputation you try to protect will dissolve like mist in the wind. The fleeting pleasures you hoped would rescue you from sadness will leave your heart more barren than before. None of these things is evil, but they cannot become the center of your life because they do not carry the breath of eternity. You have spent so much energy trying to stand firm among the illusions the world spreads before you, while what is truly meant for you lies beyond the narrow field of your gaze. Listen to me. You were created for something greater than anything your hands can touch. There is another kind of life, a life not confined within a perishable body, not measured by years, not limited by the wounds of the past or the fears of tomorrow. It is not a fairy tale, not a sweet dream meant only to soothe you. It is the truth I have prepared for you before you ever appeared in this world. It is a life in which your soul will find its true voice, where you will no longer have to tense yourself to be strong, no longer have to shrink back to avoid hurt, no longer have to wear masks to be accepted. In that life, no tear is abandoned, no pain lingers on, no loneliness clings to your heart. You will see me and know that every fear that tormented you in this life was only a pale shadow before the blazing light of eternity. You will understand that all you ever longed for, peace, love, belonging, safety, was never an illusion, but an invitation to a true homeland you had forgotten while searching for happiness in this passing world. But my child, it is precisely this span of time on earth that is when you must choose. Not because I want to test you or lay a burden on your shoulders, but because you need a place to train your soul, to learn to love, to learn to trust, to learn to become the true person you will carry with you into eternity. I place you in this world not so that you cling to it, but so that you may come to know the value of what is eternal by living. among what is passing. Just as a student must go through an examination in order to step through a new door, so your soul needs to pass through the collisions of daily life in order to know how to cherish the precious things I have prepared for you. I give you time, I give you life, I give you opportunity, not so that you may build a throne out of things that will crumble, but so that you may create a treasure marked by love, the only thing that never falls into nothingness. You must understand that every good thing you do, no matter how hidden, how small, how unnoticed by anyone, has a worth greater than all the things the world glorifies. Every time you forgive in silence, every time you renounce selfishness, every time you dare to stand for what is right even when it hurts you, every time you comfort someone with a sincere heart, all of these become seeds I, myself, have sown into your soul, waiting for you to water them with faith and perseverance. The world may not see, people may not understand, but I know every single part. And like a farmer gazing at the shoots beneath the soil, I see your soul growing, shining more brightly, becoming more and more like the image I placed within you from the beginning. Do not make light of these moments. They are precisely what will travel with you when you leave this world. Your quiet efforts do not disappear. They are not buried in the grave, not worn away by time. They blossom into flowers in my kingdom, treasures that no thief can steal and no change can ever fade. Do not forget that each day you live is a page you are writing with your own hand, but the final manuscript will be read in the light of eternity. You cannot carry with you clothes, houses, titles, or fragments of empty pride, but you can carry kindness, truth, love, forgiveness, faith, and all these will become the light surrounding you as you step into the world I have prepared for you. I do not say this to make you afraid of losing, but to help you choose what can never be lost. Not so that you will withdraw from the world, but so that you may live in the world without being swallowed by it. Not so that you abandon what you now have, but so that you place them where they belong, under your feet, not inside your heart. And once you understand this, you will walk more lightly through life, not because you have rejected it, but because you know you belong to something greater, more beautiful, more enduring than it by countless times. My beloved child, I want you to recognize the deepest truth. Your real life does not begin when you die. It begins the moment you know you are no longer living for what is temporary. Eternity is not a reward reserved only for the last day, but the very breath within you today when you choose what belongs to me. If you believe this, you will no longer fear upheavals, no longer be strangled by expectations, no longer be crushed by loss. You will live as light as a cloud, yet as firm as rock, because your soul has sunk its roots into what cannot be shaken. And when you live this way, I promise that not a single tear of yours is wasted, not a single sacrifice is in vain, not a single effort is meaningless. You may be tired, you may be weak, you may stumble, you may doubt, but I am not troubled by those things. I fear only one thing, that you might lose your soul over things that were never strong enough to hold you. I created you so that you might live, so that you might love, so that you might belong to me, not in fear, but in freedom. And you will only truly be free when you dare to let go of what does not last, so that your hands are empty enough to receive what is eternal. My child, I am calling you back to yourself, back to what is true, back to the light, back to the love that never changes. You do not need to be perfect to come to me. You only need to be honest. You do not need to be strong. You only need to be willing. You do not need to prove anything. You only need to come home. And when you return, you will know that this life was never a place where you were lost. It was simply the road leading you back to your true homeland, the place where I have been waiting for you since the foundation of the world. My child, I will keep speaking to you with all the tenderness a father can give, yet with enough strength to stir the deepest parts of your soul, for the road you are walking is too precious for me to let you continue in the fog. You have just heard me speak of the choice between self and eternity, between light and illusion, and now I want to lead you deeper into the very heart of this, where your soul truly needs to be awakened. My child, I see every breath you take in this life, every drop of sweat you shed in your daily struggles, every sincere longing in your heart. You want to live well, to do what is right, to find a safe place for yourself in this ever-changing world. Yet so often in that journey, you confuse what truly has value with what is only a shadow. You chase after things that glitter on the surface, thinking they will make you complete, but the tighter you hold them, the more they slip through your fingers like water. I see your weariness, your disappointment when you realize that all the things you tried so hard to keep in the end could not keep you. And in that very moment, I want you to pause and listen to what I am about to say. Do not waste your life chasing shadows. The world has many things that can deceive your eyes. Fame that makes you think you are respected, money that makes you think you are secure, praise that makes you think you are enough, the dreams of others that make you think you are on the right path. But, my child, all of these are like the morning mist, brilliant for a moment but gone as soon as the sun rises. If you build your life on them, it is no different from building your house on sand. A gentle breeze can make it tremble, a small storm can bring everything down. I do not want the house of your soul to be that fragile. I want it to stand firm upon the rock of eternity where no storm can shake it, and where your soul can rest in true peace. When I tell you not to fill your hands with things that do not last, it is not because I want to take away your joy or your dreams. I want to give you something greater than anything you have ever imagined, something beyond your understanding and imagination, eternal life. You were created not for a hurried life that ends in oblivion, but for an eternal journey in my light. Everything you do in this life is only the prelude to an endless song. And the smallest things you do out of love, a hard act of forgiveness, a quiet gesture of kindness, a sacrifice known by no one, are all recorded in eternity like bricks building your true homeland. You are not saved merely by your deeds, for my grace is the solid foundation beneath you, but what you do reflects where your heart is turning, toward me or toward yourself, toward light or toward dust, toward what endures or toward what fades. I do not look so much at your hands as I look at the reason behind your actions. If your heart belongs to me, then what you do, even when it seems too small to matter, still shines with a light that all of heaven recognizes. Let your heart turn back to the things that belong to eternity. The world will always try to pull you back into rivalry, jealousy, comparison, because that is how it keeps your soul tied to what is temporary. But I want to lift you higher, out of the whirlpools that weigh your heart down. When you set your mind on things above, you will begin to hunger for what never ends. You will care less about what others think of you, and care more about what I think of you. You will seek less after momentary satisfaction, and more after meaning. And the miracle is this: when your heart turns toward what is eternal, earthly things will no longer terrify you by their loss, because you know your true worth does not depend on them. The world will say, you must live for yourself, gather as much as you can, climb as high as you can so people will see and fear you. It will tell you that you are the center, that happiness lies in possessing, that success lies in surpassing others. But my child, those voices only make your soul more cramped, like a room so full of things that no light can enter. When you chase after admiration, you lose your freedom. When you chase after the envy of others, you lose your peace. When you chase after being idolized, you lose yourself. I do not want you to live in such weary masks. I want you to live true, truly light, truly radiant, truly free. And here is the deepest truth I want you to engrave on your heart. Whoever clings to their life will lose it, but whoever offers their life to me will find it again. This does not mean you must abandon everything beautiful in this life, but it does mean you must know who holds the highest place in your heart. When you put me first, my love will set everything in you back into its right order. You will know what to keep and what to release, what strengthens your soul and what is draining you. If you store up your treasure only on earth, you will see it turn to ashes. But if you build your treasure in your true homeland where I am, you will keep it forever. Your soul cannot serve two masters. It cannot thirst for light while clinging to the dark. You cannot drink from my cup and at the same time drink from the cup of the world. You must choose not because I force you, but because your own soul cannot bear that division. A divided heart will always be tired, always restless, always lost. But a heart that chooses me will become stronger than you ever imagined. It will no longer live out of fear of losing, but out of the joy of existing within true love. And my child, do not think that eternal life begins only when this body stops breathing. That life begins in every moment you open your heart to me. When you forgive while your heart still hurts, you are tasting the sweetness of eternity. When you love the person beside you, especially the one who is hardest to love, you are breathing the air of heaven. When you turn away from selfishness, when you choose truth over convenience, when you choose mercy over hardness, you are stepping into eternity little by little. When you pray and sit in silence to listen to my voice whisper like a breeze over the waters, you are touching the very border between earth and heaven, between the finite and the infinite. My kingdom is already among you, even if your human eyes do not yet see it. It is like a tiny seed quietly sprouting in the heart of the one who knows how to love, to trust, to seek me in sincerity. It grows day by day, even when you are unaware. There are days when you think you are drifting far from me, but in truth, the roots of that seed are holding more deeply within you. There are days when you feel you have not changed at all. Yet it is precisely then that eternal life is unfolding little by little, like light slipping through the crack of a door. And then one day, when you look back on the life you have lived, you will understand why I have always invited you to turn toward what is eternal. You will see that every earthly desire, every anxious attempt to protect yourself, every chase after glitter and glamour is far too small compared with what I long to give you. You were created to live a life that no death can ever close, a life that begins in the moment you choose me, love as I love, live as I live, and set your heart on what will never fade away. My beloved child, do not be afraid of losing what was never yours. Be afraid of losing what makes you belong to me. Live for what is eternal, because it is there that you truly find yourself. And I, as your Father, will always walk beside you, lift you up when you stumble, wipe your tears when you are weary, and lead you to the place your soul has longed. For since the very beginning, my beloved child, I know you are walking a journey so long that sometimes just one more small sorrow is enough to weigh your heart down. I know this world makes everything harder than you expected. I know you have grown so tired that you only want to lie still and let the current of life carry you away. I know your heart has often been tempted to believe that what your eyes can see is all that exists. But my child, let me lead you deeper into the place where true light is waiting. The morning rays that make your heart tremble, the embrace of the one you love that makes you feel you belong, the vague longing you can never quite name, these are not random emotions. They are whispers, light as a breath of wind, from eternity calling you home. The visible world is only a thin veil. What truly exists lies behind it, where I am, where your soul belongs, where every beauty of this earth is only a pale reflection. Believe that I see all the things you think, no one notices. I see the sacrifices you cradle in your heart like little flames about to go out. I see the kind choices you make in silence, when no one applauds but you still choose what is right. I see the times you reach out to help others even while you yourself are in need. I see the moments you defend the truth, though you know it will cost you. I see the hidden tears that fall when you pray in exhaustion. I see the deepest desires you have never dared to put into words, the desire to live a meaningful life, to walk gently without losing yourself. Do not think these things vanish into nothingness. To me, every small action of yours, every tiny effort, every fragment of goodness is kept. I gather them as a father carefully keeps every scrap of his child's clumsy drawings. I weave them into a crown, not a crown for you to boast about, but so that you will know that what you do in the hidden place touches my heart and holds eternal value. The world will always try to make you believe that light is found in glitter, that worth lies in wealth, that happiness comes from having more and more. But my child, there are things that shine but are not real. There are things that resound but do not last. There are things as sweet as honey, yet carry poison within. If you let yourself be swept away by that outward brilliance, your soul will slowly wither, like a garden watered not with clear water but with sugared water, sweet, yes, but unable to sustain life. I do not want you to be afraid of the world or to withdraw from it. I only want you to learn to see through the beautiful yet hollow shells it sets before you. Ask me to give you eyes that can discern true light from false light. Ask me for a heart strong enough not to be shaken by the noise. Ask me for wisdom to know what to keep and what to let go. And I will do it, because I have never refused a request that comes from sincerity. Learn to live by a different rhythm, not the hurried rhythm of the world, but the deep, quiet rhythm of one who knows they are loved unconditionally. When you work, work with integrity, without needing anyone to see you. When you speak, speak in truth, not merely in what is pleasing to hear. When you love, love with the purity of a heart not ruled by fear. When you forgive, forgive because your heart is larger than the wound. And when you pray, pray with the sincerity of a child finding their way back into the Father's arms. You do not need to be perfect to draw near to me. You only need to be real. Humility, purity, and honesty, these seemingly small things, are in fact the largest stones that build the path leading your soul into the light. Do not live for the applause of people. Do not live to keep the highest position. Do not live to accumulate what death will take away in a single moment. If you live for the gaze of others, you will change with every gust of opinion. If you live to prove your worth, you will be constantly unsettled whenever you fail. If you live to possess more and more, your heart will grow ever more impoverished. But if you live for me, live with your eyes on heaven, live for what endures, live by your soul, and not just by your body, you will find freedom. It is a freedom that keeps you from being ruled by fear, from being shaken by criticism, from being driven by passing emotions. You will know peace even when storms rage around you. You will feel your heart light even amid hard choices. You will discover a strange joy, quiet yet so deep that nothing can ever steal it away. My beloved, you were not created for what quickly passes, but for what is eternal. Within you is a soul that longs for what is higher, and that is why you never feel completely satisfied with what the world offers. You are not lacking. That longing is proof that you belong to something greater. You are moved by goodness because you were born of light. You feel pain when you do wrong because your conscience is a flame I myself have lit. You are restless with what is fake because your soul belongs to truth. And every time you choose what is right, even in the smallest choice, heaven trembles with joy. Keep walking, my child. Do not be afraid when you cannot do everything at once. Do not be discouraged when there are days you are weak, moments when you fall, minutes when you want to give up. I do not leave you when you stumble. I am not disappointed when you tremble. I do not abandon you when you lose your way. I simply stretch out my hand calmly and say, Take my hand, I will lead you. As long as you take one small step toward me, I will walk the rest of the way. As long as you crack open the door of your heart, my light will enter. Remember this as the last breath of your day. You do not live to be beautiful in the eyes of the world. You live so that your soul is worthy of its true homeland. You live so that the light within you does not go out amid the darkness. You live so that what I have sown in you, love, truth, hope, and faith, may blossom into flowers. You live so that one day, when your earthly journey ends, you can run into my arms like a child returning home after a long exile, without fear, without shame, without hiding. And I will look at you, lay my hand upon your head, and say, "You have been brave, you have been faithful. You have kept the flame I entrusted to you. Keep living this way, my child, for you were created never to lose yourself, even in a world that sparkles yet is full of snares. My child, you need to know that I never read your life with a calculating or judgmental eye. I do not sit with a notebook in my hand, counting how many times you have failed before deciding whether I should still love you. I do not love you by contract, nor do I set if-then conditions, as the world does. The love I have for you is not meant to control you, but to set you free. I do not demand that you always be strong, always stand tall, always know the right thing to do in every situation. I know there are days when you just want to disappear, to give up, to be able to cry without hiding from anyone. I know there are times you are so afraid you cannot utter even a single word of prayer. I know there are moments when you believe everyone would be better off without you, and I see your heart being crushed beneath the cruel thoughts that darkness plants in your mind. But my child, I never look at you with weariness or disappointment. I look at you as a father looks at a small child fumbling for the way home in the fog, and I long to run to embrace you, not to scold you, but so that you will know you do not have to walk alone. You do not know this, but I have listened to every heavy breath of yours on those nights when you turn over again and still cannot sleep. I have heard every sentence you spoke to yourself in despair, the words you never dared to say aloud to the world. I have heard the whispered apologies you made when you believed you had ruined everything. I have heard even the long silences you call empty, meaningless. There is no hope left. You call it silence. I call it a wordless cry for help. You think your weakness makes you shameful, but in my eyes, that is when I see you most truly, not because you have fallen, but because in that moment you are no longer hiding, no longer trying to appear strong, no longer afraid of others seeing the trembling inside your heart. I treasure those moments not because you are in pain, but because they give me the chance to step in, to heal, and to raise you up once more. My beloved child, I want to tell you something that, if you truly understand it, will keep the fear of death from weighing on you as before. Death is not a darkness that swallows you. It is my hand reaching out to bring you home. You have misread it because the world has taught you to see it with anxious eyes. The world sees only the body, and so it thinks that death is the end. But I see soul, and I know that death is only a change of dwelling. Like a child in its mother's womb who believes that tiny space is its whole universe, you too think this life is your entire story. But when you step into my light, you will understand. Everything you are living now is only the beginning, only the hallway leading to the true great room. You were born once from the dust of the earth, but you will be born again into a light that never goes out. And the moment you no longer breathe in this world is the very moment you draw your first breath of eternity. Imagine that I am holding your hand as you cross the boundary between this passing life and the true life. There is no gaping black pit, no terrifying abyss, no cold and alien door. There is only me. Only my warmth. Only my arms wide open like a father waiting for his child to come home from a long, dusty day. You will not step into emptiness. You will not be swallowed by nothingness. You will not sink into darkness. Every fear you carry will dissolve like smoke when you touch that first light. I will be there to receive you, to wipe every speck of dust from your face, and to say, at last, you are home. But you know, what makes you tremble is not death itself, but the fear of being rejected by me. You are afraid of your mistakes. You are afraid of your past. You fear that what you have done, the wrong choices, the moments of weakness, will make me turn away. You are afraid there are lines you have crossed that I can no longer forgive. But my child, if I can gather every fragment of your soul and place each one back in its right place, if I can touch old wounds without making them hurt more, if I can love you even before you knew how to love me, then how could I abandon you just because you have fallen? My mercy is wider than the horizon your eyes can see. My forgiveness is deeper than the lowest abyss you have ever plunged into. You have never fallen to a place where my love cannot reach you. You belong to me not because you are good, but because I called you by name even before you knew how to speak. You are loved not because you are perfect, but because you are mine. You were desired not because you are capable and accomplished, but because I wanted you to exist from the very beginning, when nothing had yet been created. You are my joy, the reason I never take my eyes off you. And you do not need to put on any performance to be loved by me. You only need to be yourself, a small soul, sometimes weak, sometimes afraid, yet always lovable and always meant to be held close in my arms. You must remember this. Your sin is not greater than my cross. Your failures are not stronger than the love I have for you. The times you fall are not as many as the times I am ready to lift you up. I do not look at you through the lens of your mistakes. I look at you through the lens of the work I have begun in you and will bring to completion. And every time you say, Lord, I am not worthy, I will answer, I have never loved you because you were worthy. I love you because you are my child. My child, do not run away from me every time you fail. Run toward me. Do not hide your face when you are weak. Lift it up so that I may wipe away your tears. Do not torment yourself as if you had to atone for everything on your own. Let me, the Father who loves you more than you love yourself, touch the shattered places you thought could never be mended. I will never shame you. I will not make you afraid. I will not add to your pain. I only want to heal you. Beloved, I want you to know that your life is not measured by how many times you win or lose, but by whether you return to me or not. Everything else in this world can be lost: money, reputation, health, relationships, even memory. But there is one thing that must never be lost: your soul in my hands. And I will not let it slip from my grasp just because of the stumblings you have gone through. Remain in my love. Do not let the world tell you who you are. Let me speak to you with the truth I engraved in your soul before you were born. You are the child I chose, the child I cherish, the child I seek, no matter how far you run. And you will always be that, forever, whether you believe it or not. My child, I love you. And that love has no expiration date. Do you know this? From the very first moment I breathed life into you, I saw the whole journey you would walk, the bright days flooded with light, the afternoons when you burst into tears for no clear reason, the moments of victory that made you believe you were strong enough to keep going, and the dark nights when all you could do was lie still and listen to your heart race with fear. I know all of it, and I love you through every stretch of that road. There is not 1 second of your life when I stop loving you. There is not a single moment when I stop looking at you with gentle eyes. Even when you turn away, even on the days you doubt me, even when you wander into places where there is only darkness, my love does not leave you. I do not need you to be perfect. I only need you to come home. I do not require you to be strong. I only want you to let me hold all the trembling weakness inside you. You often feel that you must live in a way that proves your worth, that you must manage to do something great to justify your existence. But you do not realize that, in my eyes, you already carry every value long before you are able to do anything at all. I love you not because you are impressive, but because you are you. My love is not like the love the world offers you, a love with conditions, with limits, warm today and cold tomorrow. The love I give you does not depend on your moods or your reactions. I love you when you are joyful, and I love you when joy is missing. I love you when you are afraid, when you doubt, when you fail, when you make mistakes. I love you even when you feel utterly unlovable. How many times have you looked at yourself with such harsh eyes that you forgot the tenderness I have for you? But I do not see you that way. I look at you as a father looks at a little child, learning to walk, knowing the child may fall, yet keeping his arms wide open, ready to catch. You are living in a world that makes you believe your worth lies in what you can do, in recognition, in success, in having to be strong at all times. And so every time you grow weak, you think you are worth less, less important, less deserving of love. But that is not how it is with me. When you are weak, I draw even closer. When you are broken, I hold you even tighter. When you are afraid, I shelter you even more. When you are lost, I search for you all the more fiercely. You think I am only near when you are good, but the truth is that I am closest when you are in pain. You imagine I hold your hand when you are standing tall, but it is precisely when you collapse that I lift you into my arms. You think I am far away when you fail, but in fact it is then that I lay my hand upon your chest and quietly say, I am here. I have not left you for a single moment. You have never fully understood my heart for you, because you have grown used to a world where people love one another only when it is convenient, when they are happy, when things are easy. But I love you even when you wound my heart. I chose you before you chose me. I forgave you before you had time to ask. I ran toward you before you ever turned around. My love does not hesitate, does not hold back, does not calculate. My love is not afraid of being hurt when it embraces you. My love does not walk away even though you have left me standing alone so many times. I say these things not to reproach you, but so that you will know that the love you have been searching for has always been right beside you in me. I know there are many times you strive and strain just to feel that you are enough. But my child, you were enough from the very beginning. I did not create you to be a copy of anyone, to live under standards imposed by others, or to chase expectations that suffocate your soul. I made you with a beauty that cannot be mixed or replicated. I made you to have your own voice, your own heart, your own path. I made you to shine in your own way, not according to the mold the world demands. And do you know this? I love you not only for the good in you, but also for the parts that are imperfect because they make you real. You do not have to fix yourself in order for me to love you. You only need to let me love you so that you may be healed. You have walked through so many things that have made your heart heavy as stone. Old wounds, words that were spoken over you, times you were abandoned, empty spaces no one ever filled. All of these have made you ask whether you are worth holding on to. You have been answering yourself wrongly. You have thought that you are not, but my answer is this: you are. You are worthy of being loved. You are worthy of being cherished. You are worthy of being welcomed. You are worthy of being gathered into loving arms. I do not create anything without meaning, and I certainly did not create you by accident. You are my intention, my longing, my delight. You would be astonished to know how closely I have watched every moment when you thought you had been forgotten. I see every time you try to act strong, every time you force a smile while your heart feels like it is breaking. I hear every whispered word you speak into the late-night silence when no one else is listening. I know every hurt you do not have the courage to share with anyone, and I do more than know I carry it all with you. Every time you break into tears, I sit down right beside you. Every time you are weary, I rest, my hand on your shoulder so you have something to lean on. Every time you are afraid, I whisper into your soul a peace you have never known. You think you are making it through on your own strength, but the truth is that I have been holding you up from behind all along. You do not have to go on alone. I am leading you, steadying you, keeping you standing. You only need to place your trust in me, to release what is choking your spirit, to let me speak the words your soul has longed to hear. My child, come home. And when I say home, I am not speaking only of heaven and the life to come. I am speaking of a place of peace you may live in even now, when you allow me to become the refuge of your soul. I am building for you a new life, a life in which you no longer have to strain just to be loved, no longer have to be crushed by not being understood, no longer have to bleed from being abandoned. I am preparing for you a future where joy is no longer fragile, where you no longer have to fight against yourself every day. I am making a place ready for you, not out of duty, but because I want you close to me, where no fear can shake your heart again. Even now, when you think you are merely reading lifeless words, it is truly I who am whispering into your soul. I am touching the places you have hidden the deepest. I am soothing the pains you have told no one about. I am wiping away the tears you do not dare to shed. I am smoothing the creases in your heart, the creases formed by all the years you have had to brace yourself and bear everything alone. You are not lost. You are not forgotten. You are not beyond recovery. I am holding you closer than ever. When you step across the threshold of your fear, you will see what you have never seen before. A light that does not deceive you, that does not make you squint, that does not overwhelm you. It simply opens, gently, just enough for you to know that you have been found. You will not slide endlessly into darkness as you once imagined. You will fall into my arms. I do not punish you with coldness. I welcome you with a warmth that makes every trembling vanish. You will not lose yourself. You will find yourself again, the you I designed, no longer distorted by fear, pressure, or loneliness. You will see the most beautiful truth of all. You bear my image. You are my child. You are the one I love, with a love beyond comparison. And my child, all that I am saying to you is not a distant promise. It is beginning right now, in the very breath you are taking, in the very heartbeat you are hearing, in this very moment when you let your heart open even a little to me. That is all it takes. The rest, I will take care of for you. My beloved, you think this life has drained all your strength, that the years you have lived are like a small boat, endlessly battling the waves, with no harbor and no clear direction. But I want you to know something vast and deep. There has not been a single step you have taken without me walking beside you. Your heart has endured so many wounds that you believe no one could ever hold its broken pieces again. But you forget that I am Father, and a father does not abandon a child who is scraped and bleeding. You imagine that every time you collapse you are further from me. But in reality, every time you sink down from exhaustion is the moment I bend closest. So near that if you only parted your lips I would hear the silent sigh inside you. You keep thinking you must walk beautifully, live powerfully, and achieve much in order to be worthy of my gaze. But my child, I am not looking for your strength. I am looking for the truth in your heart. I do not demand that you stand firm on your own. I want you to dare to fall into my arms. The world teaches you that you must always be better than others, always competent, always full and lacking nothing. But I only want you to be yourself, the child I formed with every crack, every smile, every sadness, every longing, every moment of accusation and regret, every tear you think no one sees. All that is in you is fully known by me and still fully loved. Do you know why I keep telling you not to live only for yourself? Because when your gaze is fixed only on yourself, the world becomes narrow, and even the smallest burden grows enormous. When you put yourself in first place, you force your heart to carry what it was never created to bear: expectations, comparisons, competition, fear, a quiet loneliness like a night storm without thunder. When you live that way, you drain your own soul, like a tree pulled up from the soil, still trying to stand with no life rising from within to sustain it. But when you turn your heart outward toward me and toward the souls I have placed beside you, you will find that you yourself are healed without even trying. The more you pour out, the more you are filled. The more you humble yourself, the greater you become in my eyes. The more you learn to share, the lighter your heart becomes. You think that living for others is loss, but you will learn that it is true freedom. You think that sacrifice leaves you deprived, but sacrifice is the very sign of a soul that is growing. You think that forgiveness makes you weak, but forgiveness is a strength that only those who belong to the light can ever touch. I long for you to understand this with your whole heart. When you stop placing yourself at the center, you are opening the door for me to enter. And once I step in, nothing remains the same. My love does not come like a passing breeze, but like an underground stream cutting through rock, quiet, steady, unstoppable. I will walk into the places you have hidden, the places you dare not touch, the dark corners you think would make me turn away. I do not only enter, I bring light. I do not only bring light, I heal. I do not only heal, I make all things new. I do all of this not because you are good, but because you belong to me. My little child, do you remember? Has there been a time you stood before the mirror and felt like a stranger to yourself, no longer recognizing the person you saw there? A time when you felt like ashes after a great fire, wishing only to blend into the dark so no one would see you? A time when you smiled brightly, yet your heart was heavy as stone and no one knew you were just trying to hide the shattering inside? I saw it all. I was there. I never left. Not even when you wept and could not form a single prayer. I hear your tears in the silence more than any loud pleading words. You cannot see me, but I have never left you. The world tells you that you must rely on yourself. But I know this: on your own, you cannot heal the fear that lives inside your heart. On your own, you cannot carry a life that weighs like a boulder. On your own, you cannot erase the nameless emptiness that has followed you for so many years. On your own, you cannot break free from the ghosts of the past that cling to your feet whenever you try to move forward. But you no longer have to do everything alone. I am here. I am the place where you can lean and not fear that you will fall. I am the place where you can weep and never feel ashamed. I am the place where you can open your heart and not be wounded. I am the place where you can begin again, no matter how many times you have failed. I am the place where you belong even before you knew how to seek me. Let me tell you something: the whole world, no matter how hard it tries, can never say rightly to you, you are not meaningless. You are not forgotten. You are not a mistake. You are not a stray shadow. You are not a burden. You are not extra, unnecessary. You are not something that must be fixed before it can be loved. You are my child. That is why you are still breathing. That is why you are still alive. That is why you can hear my voice even now. Even when you do not believe you are worthy, I still call you by name. Even when you try to avoid me, I still reach out to you. Even when you blame yourself and torment your own heart, I still open my arms as if you had never done anything wrong. I do not love you the way the world loves changing, measuring, doubting, comparing. I love you with a love that cannot be shaken by time, cannot be cut off by sin, cannot be diminished by weakness, cannot be extinguished by despair. Do you know this? When your breath ceases, the first thing you will see will not be darkness, but me. You will see me as a light warmer than any light you have ever known. You will see me as a song flowing through every strand of your soul. You will see me as arms strong, yet so gentle, that you will never want to let go. You will see me as the place your whole life has been searching for but never found in anything on this earth. I will bring you into my kingdom, where there are no more tears, no more fear, no more separation. There, you will not merely live, you will truly live. You will not merely see, you will see fully. You will not merely hear, you will hear even what the earthly heart could never perceive. You will be held in a peace that never fades, never slips away, never again is veiled by the night. And, my child, when you stand before me, I will not ask how successful you were. I will not ask how famous you became. I will not ask how many people you managed to please. I will only ask, have you loved? Have you forgiven? Did your heart grow soft when others were in pain? Did you seek me in your darkest days? For it is these very things that shape your soul, the part of you that you will carry into eternity. You lose nothing when you come to me. You only lose the darkness. You only lose the fear. You only lose the heaviness you no longer need. You lose what once imprisoned you in exchange for a freedom you never even dared to dream of. My beloved, come a little closer to me. Listen to me for one more heartbeat. Let me lift your soul above everything earthly that pulls you down. Let me open the eyes within you so you can see what you have never yet dared to face. My child, let me tell you about who you truly are, not the you the world thinks it sees, not the you force yourself to become just to satisfy others, but the real you, the one I formed with a love that cannot be measured. You are not created to race, to compare, to pour your soul into things that will vanish when your eyes close. I see you in the moments when you think you are useless, in the moments you scold yourself for not being good enough, strong enough, important enough. You think I am disappointed in you, but in truth, those very moments make me love you even more tenderly. I see you closing in on yourself, trying to hide your wounds behind an awkward smile, pretending to be calm while a storm rises inside and you do not know what to cling to. I see your fear when you think you are just ordinary, with nothing special, leaving no mark on this world. But my child, it is in that very ordinariness that your soul shines with a beauty those who chase after glitter will never know. For I did not create you to stand out, but to belong, not to become the center of the world, but to become a joy in my heart. Do not think, I do not know how hard you have tried to live well in this chaotic life. I see you picking up the pieces of yourself after every time you fall. I see you wiping your tears quickly so no one will notice. I see you quietly doing good without hoping anyone will remember. The world may forget, but I do not. I see every smallest thing, every embrace you give when someone is weak, every word you speak from true compassion, every amount you share even when you are not in abundance, every time you choose silence so as not to hurt another. These things the world does not count, but I count them. Others do not see them, but I see. Sometimes even you forget them, but I remember I write them with eternal ink in the book of your soul. You have always thought of yourself as not enough, but you have never understood that this very sense of not being enough keeps your heart humble, tender, easily moved by others' pain, and this makes you resemble me far more than all the things you do to appear strong. You do not have to be perfect for me to love you. I love you because you know you need me. I love you because you know how to cry. I love you because you know what it is to be tired. I love you because you do not hide your brokenness from me. And it is precisely these cracks that make your soul shine brighter, because my light can enter through the very places you consider ugly and shameful. My beloved, I know you have asked me to take away the pain that has carved itself into your heart. You want me to erase the memories that choke you whenever they return. But there are things I do not remove, not because I want you to suffer, but because I know they are shaping you into something more beautiful, softer, deeper, more mature. They make you someone who can truly sympathize, who shows mercy, who can recognize the pain in someone else's eyes with just a fleeting glance. Those very things turn you into a refuge where many come to find comfort, even though you never think you are strong enough to comfort anyone. You do not realize that your wounds have become a key to other hearts. You do not realize that when you feel your weakest, that is when I am using you to carry peace to another soul that trembles just like you. My child, do not run away from pain simply because you are afraid it has no meaning. In my hands, no pain is meaningless, no tear is wasted, no sacrifice is forgotten. I receive every tear you shed like a father keeping the messy drawings of his little child, because they are proof that you have tried, that you have loved, that you have truly lived with your heart. I do not measure you by success, but by the way you love. I do not look at your status, but at your motives. I do not judge you by your position in the eyes of the world, but by the place I hold in your heart, my precious child. I want to tell you a truth that, if you truly understood it, would make your life so much lighter. You do not need to be anyone else to be beautiful, in my eyes. You do not need to chase any image or ideal. You do not need to prove yourself. You only need to come back to your own true self, to your honesty, to your weakness, to your imperfections, to the things you have tried to hide for so many years. Because I do not love the version you have tried to build, I love the version I created from the beginning. I do not call you qualified, I call you child, and that alone is enough for me to seek you, to protect you, to watch over every step you take in this vast and fragile life. My beloved child, I want you to understand that life on this earth, with all its pressure, sadness, disappointment, and fleeting joys, is not the final destination. It is only a small doorway leading into a greater world, a more beautiful world, a truer world. You cannot see it all now, but your soul remembers it, remembers a homeland your physical eyes have never seen, yet your heart never stops longing to return to. Because your soul was created for what is eternal, you feel restless whenever you place all your hope in things that so easily fade. You were not born to cling to dust. You were born to turn toward the light. You were not made to dissolve like smoke. You were made to live forever in my love. Every time you feel that this world is too small, too narrow, too cruel, that is not because you are weak, but because your soul is whispering to you. This is not your home. The trials you are facing are not a sentence of condemnation. They are lessons in this temporary classroom where your soul is being refined to become clearer, more resilient, more like me. Do not worry if you are not good right away. I look at your effort, not your results. I watch the changes in you day by day, not the number of times you fall. I am more patient with you than you are with yourself. I wait for you longer than anyone else in this world. I do not push you to run faster. I only want you to walk in the right direction. And every time you lose your way, I do not abandon you. I go out to look for you in the night, in the fields of life, in the crossroads where you chose wrongly. My child, know that the journey you are on is not meaningless. Even when you feel you are merely existing, simply getting through each day without anything remarkable, I am still weaving the story of your life with invisible threads, the encounters, the small sacrifices, the things you think are insignificant. And one day, when you look back, you will see that every ray of light you sowed into someone, every small act of kindness you ever did, has become a wide garden planted in the eternity that is yours. No seed is ever wasted. No heart is ever forgotten, and no act of love falls into emptiness. Do not be afraid of the future. Do not be afraid of loss. Do not be afraid of change. Do not be afraid that you will not be enough. You only need to take my hand in each step, and I will lead you through every stormy season. One day, when you step across to the other shore, you will understand why I let you walk along rough roads, why I allowed the tears to fall, why there were moments when your prayers seemed to echo with no reply. You will understand that I was preparing you for something greater, greater than anything you have ever dared to dream, dared to hope, or dared to believe. And, my child, I want you to know this, something I wish you could carve deep into your heart. You are never abandoned, not for a single second, not for a single breath. There is not one day in your life when I am not walking beside you. You may forget me, but I never forget you. You may go far from me, but I never leave you. You may close the doors of your heart, yet I still stand just outside, waiting for you to open even the smallest crack. For with just that tiny opening, I will pour in, like light driving away darkness without needing much effort at all. My beloved, I write this much to you because I want you to see a truth. You are worth more than everything the world has ever said about you. You are loved far more than you have ever believed. You belong to a place far better than anything your eyes have ever seen. And you were created for eternity, not as something that begins only after death, but as something that begins the moment you turn your heart toward what cannot be lost. Do you know what is the saddest thing of all? It is not when your hands hold nothing, but when they are full of earthly things while your heart remains empty. I see many people living this way, brilliant on the outside, but inside, turning to ash, holding on to the whole world yet losing their very soul. I do not want you to become such a person. You were not born to pour your whole heart into building castles on the sand, where a single wave can bring everything crashing down. You were created to seek what endures forever, to become a soul with true weight. In the realm of eternity, the world lives by the light it finds in passing things, but I want you to live by the light that springs from eternity, the light that even the deepest darkness cannot extinguish. My child, I see how many times you have tried to convince yourself that if you just had a little more wealth, a few more words of praise, a few more achievements, your heart would finally be steady and at peace. But I also see the truth that such things only soothe you for a brief moment. Then they begin to demand more of you, more of your effort, more of your time, more of your peace. You become a servant to the things you have created, instead of letting them serve you. You are not wrong to try to live well, but the danger comes when you forget to ask me whether what you are chasing truly strengthens your soul. There are things that look like blessings but lead you away from the light, and there are things that look like loss but lead you into freedom. I long for you to see this world through my eyes, so you can clearly discern what depletes you and what makes you truly alive. I know there are many dreams in your heart, dreams of success, of being loved, of being respected, of being recognized. These dreams are not wrong, for I am the one who placed gifts and desires within you. But I also know how easily you can be tempted to believe that your worth lies in how many people applaud you, how many achievements you collect, or what position you hold in the eyes of others. My child, all of these things change. Today they lift you up, tomorrow they may not even remember your name. Your heart is far too precious to be entrusted to such things. I want you to know that you are valuable not because of what you own, but because you are loved by me and called by your very name. Everything else is only an outer garment. Your true worth lies in your soul, where the light I placed in you has been shining since before you were born. The world tells you to gather as much as you can, but I ask you, can those things truly hold you? A beautiful house cannot hold your peace. A full wallet cannot hold your joy. A flawless body cannot hold love. A great reputation cannot hold eternal life. I do not want you to spend your entire life clinging to things that can never cling to you. I want you to know that only what is eternal has the strength to support your soul through every upheaval. When you place your heart in me, you will see your fears fall off you like dust. You no longer have to toil to prove your worth, because you will know that you were loved long before you ever did anything at all. Return to what is eternal, my child. Your soul will never find rest if it keeps drifting after the loud summons of the world. But when you lift your heart upward, when you long for truth, for gentleness, for righteousness, for forgiveness, you will find yourself being remade from the inside. I do not need you to be great. I need you to be faithful. I do not need you to always be strong. I need you to be sincere. I do not need you to be perfect. I need you to place your heart in my hands with all its brokenness, weakness, wounds, and its longing to be healed. I will lift it up with hands full of mercy, and I will shape it into a new heart, softer, freer, and more capable of loving. And you know, when you begin to choose what is eternal, your definition of living will change. You will see that forgiveness is not weakness, but a step forward into eternity, that loving is not a burden, but the place where your soul can breathe, that sacrifice is not a loss, but the way you offer yourself to the light, that prayer is not a duty, but the moment you rest your head on my shoulder and hear my heart beating in rhythm with yours. When you live this way, my kingdom is no longer far away. It is growing within you, like a tiny seed quietly pushing its way through dark soil. You do not yet see it, but I see it. You do not yet feel it fully, but I am at work in you every single moment. My beloved, do not be afraid that you will lose anything by living in this way. I tell you the truth. By living for me, you lose nothing. You only lose the chains that have been making you weary. You lose the anxiety of what others think of you. You lose the fear of being left behind. You lose the pressure of having to be perfect. You lose the exhausting urge to constantly prove you are worthy. And you will find what the world can never give: peace that does not depend on circumstances, joy that is not tied to achievements, love without conditions, and a life that does not end. Eternal life begins now. It is found in how you choose to see the world, in how you choose to treat others, in how you step out of selfishness, in how you offer your best to those who cannot repay you, in how you draw near to me each time you are weary. It is in those very moments that you are stepping into eternity, little by little, and remember, my kingdom does not come with thunder or noisy signs and wonders. It comes quietly, as softly as a breeze stirring the leaves, as gently as a drop of rain soaking into dry ground. But when the day comes for it to be revealed, you will look back and say, "Father, so you were here all along." Right in the midst of the things I thought were the most ordinary. You do not have to run fast to reach eternity. You only need to walk one step each day, one step with each choice, one step with each act of love. And I, as I have promised, will walk beside you in every single step, not leaving you for even a moment. My beloved child, choose what can never be lost. For in that very choice, you will find yourself, you will find true peace, and you will find me. My dear child, now I will continue speaking to you, so that what is still unfinished within you may be brought to completion in light, in peace, and in the truth that the world has so often tried to hide. I know you need more encouragement, more explanation, one more long embrace made of words, so that your soul can exhale, can stand up again, can keep walking. That is why I will go on, so your heart may be filled more and more, so that you may recognize that life does not end at what you see, but opens out in what you begin to understand. And I hope you will read this part with open eyes, but above all with an open heart, so that each word can come to rest within you like raindrops that give birth to life. Look back, my child. How many times have you believed you had to walk through trials alone? How many times have you believed that pain makes you small, weak, and useless? You did not know that these very pains are the starting point of a growth beyond compare, just as a seed only sprouts when it is buried in the darkness, and only when its hard shell is broken can life rise up. The pain you carry is not punishment, my child, it is an invitation. It reveals that your heart is still capable of trembling, still able to discern right from wrong, still able to recognize what wounds your soul and what revives it. If your heart were completely numb, you would not feel pain. If your soul had died before your body, you would never feel uneasy. But you do feel pain, you do feel discomfort, you do wrestle within, and that means you are still alive, still being touched by me, still being led back home by my hand. And I want you to understand something else as well. Sometimes you think I am slowing you down, but in reality I am saving you from what would cause you to collapse. At times you blame me because you do not receive what you want immediately, but you do not see that what does not come to you is exactly what I have held back, so that you will not be harmed. You wonder, why is what is good so hard to attain? Yet what you call good is not always fitting for the season of your soul. I see the whole picture, my child. I see the paths you think will bring you joy, but in truth will steal your peace. I know the people you want to cling to, but if you hold on to them, you will lose yourself. I know the goals you pursue which seem noble, but if you achieve them, your heart will grow dry. I see it all, and I want to keep you from those snares where a single wrong step would be enough for you to lose the light. The world often tells you, do whatever makes you happy, but remember that not everything that makes you happy is what nourishes your soul. There are pleasures as quick as lightning that leave a long darkness behind. There are things that excite you and then leave you empty. On the other hand, there are things that at first make life hard, that make you strain, that force you to face the truth, yet these very things lay a foundation that makes your soul solid as rock. You do not need to avoid what is hard, you only need to avoid what is hollow. You do not need to run from trials, you only need to run from temptations that make you forget who you are. You do not need to flee from pain. You only need to flee the kind of pain that does not lead you back into the light. I know there is much turmoil inside your heart. You want to live well, but you are afraid of losing your advantages. You want to love, but you are afraid of being hurt. You want to forgive, but you are afraid others will not appreciate it. You want to trust me, but you fear that if you trust too much, you will be disappointed. Yet, my child, you cannot find deep joy if your heart is always on guard. You cannot taste true freedom if you keep locking yourself inside a cloak of false safety. You cannot know love if you have never dared to give yourself away. Love, truth, and freedom, all of these require courage. And I believe you have that courage, because I am the one who placed it within you from the very beginning of creation. When you love as someone who knows they have been loved first. Do not love in order to get something in return. When you forgive because you understand that refusing to forgive is the chain that binds your own soul. When you sacrifice because it makes your soul simpler and more beautiful. When you pray not so that I will do your will, but so that you may understand what truly matters. And when you live as someone taking each step toward your true homeland, where there will be no more tears, no more disappointment, no more sense of being lost. Do you know this? Every time you rise after a fall, heaven grows a little brighter. Every time you choose what is right, though your heart is weary, an angel rejoices where you cannot see. Every time you refuse what is wrong, even when it would be easier, your soul shines like a small flame that can light the way for others. You do not see the results immediately, but you are shaping a quiet current that is pushing your life toward the light. To be alive is not merely to exist. To be alive is to move toward what makes your soul grow instead of wither. Remember that I never demand perfection from you. I only desire that you be faithful in the smallest things. A kind word, a moment of patience when you are tired. One time you choose silence instead of wounding another. A little gratitude in the middle of a long day. A smile even when your heart is heavy. A weak, whispered prayer before you sleep. All these little things shake the heavens, for your soul is built from these things, not from grandeur or success. If you keep sowing steadily, one day, when you look back, you will see that you have been changed, not because the world has recognized you, but because the light within you has grown, and even you did not notice when it happened. My beloved child, I want to tell you this as well so that your heart may understand more deeply. You do not live alone. Every good choice you make sends out an echo. Every tear you shed finds its way to my heart. Every time you are exhausted yet still choose to stand up, I hold you close in the unseen realm. You are not alone on this journey. You are not walking under an empty sky. You are walking within my plan, and that plan never loses its way. If you trust me, you will never have to face the darkness alone. If you entrust your life to me, you will receive a peace that the world cannot give and cannot take away. And if you dare to live for what is lasting, you will never fear losing what is passing. Keep going, my child. Each day does not need to be perfect. It only needs to be true. Each action does not have to be great. It only needs to spring from love. Each choice does not have to be flawless. It only needs to be guided by sincerity. And then one day, when you turn and look back, you will see a long road woven out of light, the light of each decision you chose to live by, each pain you overcame, each time you opened your heart, each step you took toward me. And when you stand before me, you will understand that nothing done in love is ever wasted. No sacrifice is forgotten. No tear is lost. No effort disappears. All of it becomes eternal glory for your soul. My child, keep living this way. For you deserve a life that is not only beautiful in the eyes of the world, but beautiful in my eyes and beautiful in your own soul. You were created for the light, so walk in that light. You were created for love, so live by that love. You were created for heaven, so set your course toward heaven. And I, your Father, will always walk with you, step by step, heartbeat by heartbeat, breath by breath, until the day you come home. Now, my child, open your heart like a door whose bolts have been removed, and offer me the most honest prayer that rises from the deepest place within your soul. Almighty God, I come before you with a heart still trembling from all that I have gone through in this life. I have tried to be strong, to brace myself against the storms, but now I realize that I am only truly safe when I rest in your arms. Lord, please enter the dark corners of my soul where I hide my fears, my wounds, and the cries that have never been named. Please heal the wounds so deep that I thought no one could ever reach them. Place within me the peace that the world cannot give and cannot take away, so that even when my body is weary, my soul will know it has a permanent refuge in you. Gentle Father, I come before you like a small child seeking to nestle against your heart after a long, exhausting day. Please wipe away the tears I have tried so hard to hide. Please lift me up from all the times I have blamed myself for not being good enough, not strong enough, not worthy enough. Father, help me understand that you have never loved me because of my perfection, but you love me with the very love that is yours, a love without condition and without change. Teach me to let go of my pride so I will no longer lock myself inside the cage of fear. Place your hand upon my heart and let it find rest in your peace. O one who knows every hidden longing, nothing in me is hidden from you. I offer to you the things I have never dared to say aloud, the secret desires I hardly dare to face myself. Fill me, Lord, with your light, so that every shadow may lose its power over my soul. Help me step out from the burdens I lay upon myself, from the inexplicable sadness, from old wounds that still throb beneath the surface. Grant me new eyes, so that I may look at life with hope rather than fear. Lift me up with the strength that only your love can give. Merciful Lord Jesus, I come and bow before you, asking you to place your hand upon my heart that is worn out by the trials of life. I have been running for so long, striving beyond my limits, drained by the effort to survive in a world full of noise and pressure. Please let me know that I do not have to carry everything alone, and that I do not need to prove anything in order to be loved by you. Teach me how to live in truth, in love, and in trust in what you have planned for me. Let me rest my head upon your heart and feel the rhythm of peace I lost long ago. O giver of all life and source of true peace, I hand over to you everything that makes me tremble. I surrender the burdens that are tearing my heart apart day by day, and I offer even the things I cannot put into words. Fill me, Lord, with your warmth, so that I may know I am still loved, still held, still cradled in the hands of the Father. Teach me to slow down, to listen to your call, to follow the light you have lit for me alone. Lead me to the place where my soul can truly rest. Lord, I run back to you like a traveler returning home after long, weary years on the road. I ask you to be the fortress, the strong wall, the safe shelter for my soul. Do not let me be drowned in the illusions of this world, where I always feel compelled to appear strong even when I am fragile to the point of pain inside. Let me feel your breath touch my heart like a fresh breeze that brings me back to life. Keep me from every fear, every loss, and everything that does not belong to me. Father, I place in your hands all my longings, all my scars, and all the past that has wounded me. Burn away whatever makes me fall, and keep whatever helps me grow. Lead me out of the dark roads where I have gone astray for lack of your light. Help me recognize that my true worth is not in what I achieve, but in what you see in me. Restore my soul as a dry garden revived by living water. Good Father, I thank you for the moments when I thought I was about to collapse, and yet it was then that you lifted me up. I thank you for always looking at me with gentle eyes, not judging my weakness. I thank you for giving me peace when my heart is full of storms, for giving me hope when I think I have lost everything. I thank you for walking with me even when I so often forget you and chase after small and passing things. Please accept this gratitude as the little but most sincere gift I can offer. I thank you because you have not allowed me to be drowned in my own fears. I thank you because you never abandon me, even when I think I have no value left. I thank you because every tear I shed is kept by you, every sigh is heard by you, every wound is touched by you to be healed. I thank you because you have patiently waited for my return, never forcing, never angry, only loving. Please receive this song of thanksgiving as the incense of my heart rising to you. I thank you for letting me know that this life is not all there is, that I still have an eternal home with you. I thank you for not letting me wander in darkness for too long, but for kindling within me a light by which I can recognize the way toward heaven. I thank you that amid all things changing, you remain the only one who never changes. I thank you that you know when I love, when I fail, when I weep, when I hope, and yet you still want me to belong to you. Please let this gratitude become the steady heartbeat that continually resounds within my heart. I give thanks because you have transformed my life with a love that no pain can overcome. I give thanks because you have brought me from darkness into light, from being lost to being found, from fear into peace. I give thanks because you have not only healed me, but have made me more new than I ever imagined I could be. I give thanks because, when I look back over the path of my life, I see that you have never once departed from me, not even for a single heartbeat. Please keep this grateful heart alive and vibrant within my soul for all eternity. I offer this prayer in the holy name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we can build a strong and vibrant community of faith.